The quarterback coach of the Cleveland Browns just said something, and the entire NFL world is pretending like they didn't hear it.
Young players are afraid to make a mistake. And so that's why we love Shedeur.
You love to hear that, right? And I really want to point out that there are multiple things kind of being proven here, right? We're going to go kind of step by step. The first thing I want to say is, this idea that Shedeur was arrogant or, he was some negative in the locker room. I really personally think it was one of the nastier narratives, right? If you want to know,
I'm blown away. I think Shedeur has really good vision in the field. He'll say things in practice sometimes. I'll be like, what did you get there? Or I'll see something on the field that doesn't resonate with me. And then when I go back and watch it on video, he might be throwing the deep post versus a post safety look in what is maybe a jog through type of tempo. But then sure enough, I see that the post safety sat on the crosser and gave us a post over the top. And so his vision with his work ethic has been good to see.
They said he couldn't read a defense. They said he didn't understand the offense. They said, and I want you to really hear this, that Shedeur Sanders wasn't good enough to start and win anything of substance. Those were the words. Confident, repeated, loud. But here's what they didn't count on. The man coaching Shedeur every single day just went on record, and what came out of his mouth? It didn't just contradict the narrative, it obliterated it.
Quarterback coach, this was the quarterback coach. Again, speaking of the growth, I believe this is the end of minicamp.
He's done a great job of defining his footwork, playing with a base, learning the offense, working his butt off to really master his craft, and it's been fun to watch. He's done a really good job. He's gone like that. He's getting through progressions faster, and his feet are matching that mindset. He has been receptive to everything, and that's been it's been great. If you look at Shedeur, the off-schedule plays that he made last year, maybe his measurables.
Let's rewind. From the moment Shedeur Sanders entered the NFL draft conversation, the knives were out. And not the quiet kind, the loud, televised, repeated every week kind. Browns beat reporters, local media voices, people with microphones and platforms who had one job, cover the team, and instead chose to run the same script, over and over, word for word. I've seen enough. I've heard enough. He's not good enough. That was the take. That was the take for 6 straight months. No evolution, no new evidence, no specifics, just the same sentence recycled, repackaged, and delivered with the confidence of someone who had never actually broken down a quarterback's film a day in their life. But then something happened. The quarterback coach started talking. Here's what Shedeur's own QB coach said, the man who watches every rep, every throw, every footwork adjustment, every decision in practice. I'm blown away. Not he's showing improvement, not he's getting there, not a polite non-answer designed to keep the media quiet. Blown away. And it didn't stop there. The coach described a moment in practice where Shedeur threw a deep post against a post safety look during what looked like a casual jog through, and everyone on the sideline raised an eyebrow. Something felt off. The coach went back and watched the film, and there it was. The post safety sat on the crosser. The post was open over the top. Shedeur saw it before the play developed. He saw it before anyone else did. That's not luck. That's not instinct from a guy who doesn't understand defenses. That is football intelligence, operating at a level that makes coaches stop and ask themselves, wait, what did he just see? And this wasn't a one-time thing. By the end of minicamp, the quarterback coach came back with more. He talked about Shedeur's footwork, his base, his ability to master the offense at a pace that has been, quote, fun to watch. He talked about how Shedeur is getting through his progressions faster, how his feet are matching his mental processing, how he's been receptive to everything. Not some things, everything.
I remember this video. I remember when Deion Sanders has said Shedeur Sanders has been calling plays since he was 8, has been flipping plays, and most notably,
football with him youth on up, they call him grown. because he's always been a grown man amongst boys. He was calling his own plays at 8, man.
But he's also said that multiple times. And shout out to Bug on Twitter. That I believe that's his like media.
Now, stop right there, because that word matters. Receptive to everything. You know what the critics said? They said he was stubborn, that the Sanders family was too proud, that Shedeur's upbringing under Deion would make him resistant to coaching, resistant to the process, resistant to being told what to do. But the coach who coaches him every day just told you exactly the opposite. And there's a reason that matters more than any tweet, any radio segment, any take recycled for 6 months on a Cleveland broadcast. Here's the thing about Shedeur Sanders that people keep sleeping on. Deion Sanders didn't raise a kid who got lucky playing football. He raised a kid who was calling his own plays at 8 years old, not running plays someone else called, calling them at 8, flipping them, reading the field and making adjustments before most kids his age could even tie their cleats properly. They called him grown for a reason. He wasn't just a talented player in a great system. He was an old soul in a young body, someone who understood the game at a conceptual level that didn't match his age. And everybody who has ever been around him, from his dad to his teammates to coaches to people in the building who have no reason to lie, has said the same thing. They go look at the film and they realize he was right. He was right. And they don't always want to admit it. Sometimes coaches get frustrated. Sometimes the play doesn't look right in real time. And then they pull up the iPad. And then the eye in the sky don't lie. Now let's talk about the media, because this is where it gets uncomfortable, and it needs to be said. Coach Lance Reisel, if you're not following him, that's on you, has been breaking down Shedeur Sanders' film with actual specifics, not vibes, not feelings, not "I've seen enough." Specific route concepts, specific coverage reads, specific throws. He describes Shedeur recognizing man coverage on a route, processing it instantly, and delivering a perfectly timed throw to the right flat. He describes Shedeur reading a defender as he widened on a deep curl, letting the receiver work back inside, and delivering the ball with outstanding footwork and weight transfer. Those are the words: outstanding, fundamental, sound. Contrast that with what the beat reporters have been saying for half a year. No specifics, no film, no breakdown, just "I've seen enough, I've heard enough." The same line, the exact same line, every single time.
I think he's going to be a really, really good head coach, because he's a guy that I think is going to hold the players accountable. And when you look at Concepcion, for instance, some of the guys, well, first of all, look at the quarterback position. I would be shocked personally if Shedeur doesn't win that battle. But I like the idea that he's got it open to both guys, talking about both quarterbacks. But I'm just happy. I'm excited. I'm happy, and can't wait for the season to start.
I might just label this video consistency.
If you've ever heard a freestyle rapper versus someone reading off a notepad, you know the difference. These takes, that's a notepad. That's a script. That's not analysis. That's a predetermined conclusion being repeated until it sounds like truth. And here's where the legend factor comes in. Because it's not just the QB coach singing Shedeur's praises. It's not just the film analysts who actually watch the tape. It's the legends of the game, the ones who played the position, the ones who bled for this sport. Hanford Dixon, a man with real history in Cleveland, came out and said he would be shocked, personally shocked, if Shedeur doesn't win the starting job. Not hopeful, not curious, shocked if he doesn't. That's a different kind of statement. And the head coach, Todd Monken, has kept the competition open, which some people read as doubt, but the people who understand football read it differently. If your coach respects you enough to make you earn it, that's not disrespect. That's the highest form of belief, because it means he thinks you can handle the pressure. So, where does this leave us? The man is working. Every report, from the people who like him, the people who don't, the coaches, the teammates, even Myles Garrett, says the same thing. Shedeur Sanders works. He works hard, relentlessly, obsessively hard. The questions about his dedication? Answered. The questions about his ability to read defenses? Answered. The questions about his coachability, answered. The questions about his football IQ, the QB coach just answered those too. So, what exactly is left to debate? There's a moment coming. You can feel it building. You can feel the pressure mounting on both sides. The people who want him to fail and are running out of ammunition, and the people who've believed all along and are watching the pieces fall into place. Shedeur Sanders is going to step onto that field in a Browns uniform, and everything, every take, every script, every recycled "I've seen enough" is going to get answered in real time, in front of everybody. And when that moment comes, the people who ran that script for 6 months are going to have nowhere to hide. But right now, if you've been watching, if you've been paying attention, if you've looked past the noise and listened to the people who actually coach him, who actually break down his film, who actually understand what they're watching, you already know. The story isn't over. It's barely started. And the best part? Shedeur Sanders is just getting warmed up. If this kind of real, unfiltered NFL content is what you're here for, hit that subscribe button right now, because we're not done, not even close, and you don't want to miss what comes next.